Went off to my bedroom and I cried for 5 hours. And I remember after that 5 hours just feeling a sense of peace. But I really feel like that day, God started preparing my heart for what was to come. I think I was about 30 weeks pregnant. And the doctor said to me, baby itself just feels a little too small. So why don't we go off and have a few more scans and tests and just see if there's anything going on.
And the first scan was great, it was fantastic. And so the excitement continued to build.
So I went off to these extra few scans. Something's not right. The baby's head's a little small. One side of the heart's a bit too big. Something is wrong with your child, and that's obviously devastating news and your heart sinks.
But we went about life and the rest of this pregnancy praying that it would be great and getting encouragement and support from people around us.
And the birth went fine, everything was great, but then as soon as she was born, she wasn't breathing, so the doctors come rushing into the room. But then they took her off to the special care nursery. And they came back to me and they said, oh, she has a cleft palate, and that means you're born without the roof of your mouth.
We could hear the baby crying. Of course, that means the baby's breathing. Thinking that's a sign of life. Like, that's a sign of a new creation that is born. And of course, they wanted, as soon as possible, bring the baby over to us. And they said, what's the baby's name? And Emma said, Hannah.
God has given her the gift of joy to see love and beauty in the little things of life.
I'm Ronan McGinnis.
My name is Emma McGinnis. Our faith for us was always just a part of our everyday life.
Is a symbol of faith. Yeah, that's something that we really cherish. When I proposed to Emma, and thankfully she said yes, we started thinking about what our family life would look like into the future. So she's from the big family of 7, I was from a family of 5, so family life had been a big thing for both of us, and we both have great relationships with everyone in our family as well.
So when Ronan and I were talking about how many children we wanted to have, that's the mindset that I came with, that I want to have a big family.
So there was that decision as to what would family life look like for us. And one of the things we're encouraged to do was go along to a weekend, 3 days that were held for people who were engaged. To be able to ask some of the deeper questions about what would faith look like in your family, what would prayer look like in your family, and what might family look like in terms of the children that you would like to have.
I'll go anywhere if you'll be by my side, it's alright.
I was so excited and I straight away, well, Ronan, I want at least 4 children. And then Ronan kind of stopped me and he's like, whoa, 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 Emma, calm down. What if we had a child with a disability? And he just said it out of nowhere. And I remember thinking, no, like, that's not going to happen to us. And as Ronan does, he's like, maybe we should just be prepared to accept whatever God gives us, and let's not set a number, and whatever we have, let's just be happy with what God will give us.
God preparing me for the fact that I was going to have a family life that would be different to what some other people might have expected, and certainly to what I would have expected. But I could tell that I was going to be okay with that even then.
I agreed with him because I did agree with the idea of accepting whatever God would give us. But I also thought, that's not going to happen to us. We'll have a number of children. But I really feel like that day, God started preparing my heart for what was to come. Obviously not knowing that we were going to have a child with a disability. But I often reflect on that moment and think, why of all things did Ronan say that? Why did that come out of his mouth? And only in looking back do I see that that's where I believe God was preparing us for the life that we were to have.
So having been married in our early 20s, we started the adventure of marriage. And we were serving in the church, and we were still just establishing careers and finishing university and these types of things. And within a year and a half, we found out that we were pregnant. There was a real excitement about that. We decided that we wanted the surprise of finding out at the time of birth whether it was going to be a boy or a girl, and so we were up for the surprise. That was quite exciting for us.
I think I was about 30 weeks pregnant, and the doctor said to me, I know you're a little person, but the baby itself just feels a little too small. So why don't we go off and have a few more scans and tests and just see if there's anything going on.
Then, as you prepare, many parents would know for these things, you have a number of scans to check on the health of the baby, and the first scan was great, it was fantastic, and so the excitement continued to build.
And once again, I remember going, everything will be fine, there's nothing wrong, everything's okay. So I went off to these extra few scans, and a few of them I had to do by myself because Ronan was away working. And there was one scan that I went.
But then as soon as that finished, someone came into the room to talk to us about the fact that some of the things that they noticed on the scan did look unusual. It wasn't what they would normally see.
Something's not right. The baby's head's a little small, one side of the heart's a bit too big. Something is wrong with your child, and that's obviously devastating news, and your heart sinks.
Of course, that made us a little bit nervous, as others would have had that experience as well. But we went about life and the rest of this pregnancy praying that it would be great and getting encouragement and support from people around us.
And the birth went fine, everything was great, but then as soon as she was born, she wasn't breathing, so the doctors come rushing into the room. But then they took her off to the special care nursery. They came back to me and they said, oh, she has a cleft palate, and that means you're born without the roof of your mouth. And cleft palate and cleft lip, the history of that runs in my family, so it wasn't entirely shocking to me.
We could hear the baby crying. Of course, that means the baby's breathing. And I remember when that happened, being just so pleased to hear a baby crying, thinking that's a sign of life. Like, that's a sign of a new creation that is born. And of course, they wanted, as soon as possible, bring the baby over to us as parents, Emma in particular, to hold the baby. And they said, what's the baby's name? And Emma said, Hannah.
God just has brought me to a deeper level of love for her that I don't think I would have experienced unless Hannah was who she is.
Oh, do you want some more? Do you want some more? Yes.
Hannah needed to have a heart operation, and she did. When she was 8 days old, she had open heart surgery. And then after that, well, I was like, well, that's fine. Now we'll just get her feeding and then we can go home. And Hannah had a nasogastric tube in through her nose, which was how she fed.
We trust the baby to God and to the wonderful specialists that we have who can look after these kind of situations. And Hannah recovered well from that heart surgery.
Maybe Hannah's going to have a disability because she can't feed herself. And you know, you're probably going to have care for her for the rest of her life. And if she ever got sick, you might want to turn off the life support. As if, to me, the doctors were saying, well, she's not worth having. But coming from my faith and from the belief that I had in God, I knew that all life is valuable. And so we were shocked by the news, but then we were just loving and accepting for the fact that we had this beautiful child.
Good girl.
We took Hannah home and we cared for her there. And Hannah became a part of our family at home, the two of us and little Hannah, and lots of support from our family and friends and from our church family and others as well, gathering around just wanting the very, very best. And ever since then, Hannah has needed plenty of trips back to the hospital. She's had to have the heart surgery done again. She's had to have other little operations here and there. But what the doctors confirmed from the very beginning was true, that something in her head wasn't right. And that has become a significant intellectual disability.
I was going to cut the front part because she's not walking, but here she is.
When I had Hannah, I'd literally just finished university. From the day she was born, we've had doctor's appointments, physiotherapists, speech therapy, occupational therapy, and for me it was always God and my faith was in it. Good girl, Han. Yeah. I just felt like if I could just achieve the next thing for Hannah in her therapy, then life would be okay.
Good walking.
But she continues to make noises, and she continues to smile, and she continues to bring joy into our life. And that hasn't changed since that first moment that we heard her cry in hospital all those years ago.
Yay, Han.
And I really had a moment of loving Hannah for how I believe God loves us. He doesn't want anything from us. We can't actually take him anything. He just loves us for who we are. When Hannah was about 6 years old, she was about to start school, and trying to choose school was a big decision for us because Hannah still, at 6 years old, she couldn't feed herself, she couldn't dress herself, she couldn't walk, she had a walking frame, and so the decision of what school to send her to was a big decision for us. And I remember the night before she started year 1, I'm in tears and I'm crying to Ronan. I was like, have we chosen the right school? Have we done the right thing? And Ronan saying to me, you know, we're having this argument. I remember saying to him, I just want Hannah to walk and talk. And kind of this confronting moment in our argument of me going, Emma, is that what you really want for her? That you're desiring these things for her? And I just had this moment of loving Hannah for just who she was. And from that day, I feel like I don't chase the next thing in terms of Hannah walking or talking, but I chase just loving who she is and helping her to be the best her that she can be.
You do it. You've got to pick it up.
That God has blessed us with strength and with faith and with resources and with family life and each other to be able to be Hannah's parents. I actually consider it a privilege. And I know it might sound easy to say it like that, but I wouldn't want to change that. I want to be Hannah's father, and I want to help her through her struggles. I can't fix her struggles. That's one of the interesting things. There's nothing I can do that fix them, but I can help her through them. I think that's probably what many parents try to do with their children, but that's what we're doing with Hannah in her situation. When Emma and I were first married, we were involved a lot in youth ministry. So every Friday night would be part of the youth group, which was loud music and dynamic and lots of things happening. There were always camps that were being held, and so we were a young couple who were very much alive in our faith during this time and trying to share that faith with others. One of the things that would often take place is when family life starts, people need to withdraw from youth ministry. We actually had the opposite experience.
Ronan and Emma are just so sold out for God and everything that they do. And I love that they see and do everything as a family. They always have Hannah with them, doing all their activities, all their faith activities, all their work activities. She's just a part of the wider Ignite family.
Ronan and I just believe that if faith is part of our life, it's who we are.
So Emma played an important part in my faith journey as well. Being able to share faith together, being able to decide what we wanted our future to look like, and knowing that a relationship with God, service to the church was something that we really wanted to commit to. And it's been a big part of our relationship and of that transition from being a child and a young person into a young adult until the adult life that I have today.
That's what we want to convey to Hannah, and so Hannah comes with us, and we believe that if God has blessed us to be a part of ministries and to share our faith, then that's a blessing upon Hannah as well. So Hannah comes with us to everything, and it's not anything that, we're not embarrassed by Hannah. We love who Hannah is, and she's just a part of our family. What I love about Hannah is just this inquisitive nature that she has to look at things and look at how they work, why does it do something? And she just brings me a lot of joy in seeing the joy that's in her. And she brings people joy by her beautiful smile.
And she brings great joy to us, and she's a symbol of faith being something deeper than just something that we understand in our head.
When I came to love Hannah for exactly who she was, it helped me to see that joy and to love the things about her that maybe others wouldn't notice, the little tiny intricate things that she does.
I was still aware of God. I was still very much believing that that was existence, and that whilst my prayer life might have faded away a little bit and involvement in the church faded away a little bit, there was still very much a belief at my core that I was created by God and there was a greater purpose to my life.
It makes me understand more the love that God has for us with the joy that Hannah has in her, and I really believe God has given her the gift of joy to see love and beauty in the little things of life.
We love the fact that she's able to engage fully in what the Eucharist is. Because we've always been told that the Eucharist is a mystery, and Hannah is 100% a mystery. What's going on in Hannah's head, she's not able to tell us. It's always a mystery. So love the fact that she's able to participate in a mystery in the fullness of that. And so Hannah is a symbol of mystery for us as well. She's a symbol of faith. And therefore, I think Hannah is a wonderful ministry to others. It's not just us who are the ministers taking our child with us. She is a ministry being part of a broader ministry that's going on around her. And that's something that we really cherish as a family.
And we believe that's a witness to how Catholic families should be, where you bring your children with you to your events so they see how what you say you believe, you are actually living out.
Our experience with Hannah has taught us that you can hope for a great future, but you cannot decide exactly what that future will be, and that's okay. It's also taught us that you can pray for a great future for yourselves and for others, but you can't make God's plans for him. God's plans are God's plans. But having that desire for a great future is something that we should hold on to, that we get excited about. We are excited for Hannah's future. We don't know what that will be, but every time she does something small, we get excited about that and we can celebrate that. And good things happen in her life, even though they're different to the good things that happen in other people's lives. I recall 20 years ago being at an event where someone put their hand up to ask a question of a priest, and that person said, "Father, can you explain why some people have easy lives and some people have hard lives?" And that priest thanked everybody in the room and thanked that person for the question and said, here's how we'll answer it. Can I get everybody to stand up in the room who's had the easy life? And of course, no one stood up. And the priest said, I promise I won't ask you about your life. Just stand up if you're one of the people who have had the easy life. And of course, nobody stood up. And the priest said, there's your answer. The priest said, everybody has a struggle in their life at some point in time. And we don't have to pretend those struggles don't exist. But we embrace the struggles and we realize that good things come from the struggle, and that even if there are struggles where we don't feel like good things come, we certainly know with Hannah, we look forward to the times that are very good. And Hannah certainly taught us that life is good and that we don't need to judge life the way that others might judge life. And we certainly in our family don't judge success the way that other people judge success. But we're certainly very pleased about who this beautiful girl is in our world and what she demonstrates about God's gift of life.
Our journey with Hannah has certainly taught us to trust in God more. It hasn't been an easy journey, and as you were saying, Ronan, I don't think life always is easy, but by God's grace, who wants to grace us, who always is pouring his love upon us, he has been able to grace us with the strength and the ability to keep going, to love Hannah for who she is. And it's certainly been a journey of trust, to trust in God more and more every day for not just our journey with Hannah, but therefore our journey with lots of different things in our lives that we come across. And God's love and grace has continued to pour out upon us. And I don't think I would have understood or felt the depth of God's grace and love as much as I have if I hadn't had Hannah and he hadn't blessed us with her.
And there are certainly people who try and congratulate us or pat us on the back for something that we've done. But I think all we're doing is just being faithful parents who are trying to make the most of our situation. And that in itself is a triumph. And who Hannah is in her life is a triumph. And I think it all points back to the gift of life from God is a gift that helps all of us to triumph, and we find that strength in God.
Are you searching for answers? Discover your true identity. Stay tuned to Shalom World.